What's going on? This is the House of Boom podcast, the most diverse podcast you'll see. I'm your host, Eric Boom Salvery. Y'all know how we get it started. We get it started with the affirmation introduction. Do y'all remember that movie Hitch with Will Smith? Well, today I have the future director of Hitch 2. It's called Courtship on a Budget. She is the Pulitzer Surprise winner. I said surprise winner. Surprise winner. Pulitzer Prize winner. She has sold thousands upon thousands of books. Y'all like that affirmation? I think we're going to stop right there. It is Quanisha Earl. Kwa, my homie, my friend. She has a book called Economical Dating, Budget Courtship. So with that, hi, Kwa.
Hi, Eric.
What's going on? How you doing today?
I'm amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you already know what it is. It's a vibe.
Always a vibe.
We've known each other for about 2 years now, and
2 years. Can we take it back? It's a little further than that. Give me my credit, Eric.
No, about 2 years.
No, it's not. The pandemic itself was 2 years.
Okay, so 3 years? What we in 2020?
We're going on 4 years. I think going on 4 years.
2023? I don't know. Who knows? But Kwa is just a person who just is as a person. She's a force. She likes to pour into people's lives. She likes to be just somebody you can call in the midnight hour. Hopefully not too late because she probably got a boo or something. But in the midnight hour, and really just you can talk about pretty much anything. I love her energy. She's here today to talk about her book once again, Budget Dating. Economical Dating, Budget Courtship. Y'all know I can't read, but here's the book. It's right there for you, and I'm just like all over the place. Y'all see it? Y'all see it? So what how did we get here? What made you want to be an author?
Excellent question. Thank you so much. And the book is called Budget Courtship. It's Economical Dating, the how-to courting book for Frugal Pockets.
Frugal Pockets.
Frugal Pockets.
Y'all know y'all stingy out there. Go ahead.
Yeah, so, it's an interesting question and a great question at that. And I kind of love to tell the backstory on the book. So actually what got me into it or made me even think about, coming up with the book was I have one of my dearest friends who's a sister to me. Her birthday was coming up and I was like, I'm going to call her boyfriend and figure out what is he going to do for her birthday. So I call her boyfriend and I'm like, hey, bro, what's going on? What are you doing for sister's birthday? And he's like, oh, nah, I'm not going to do nothing. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, nah, I don't got it right now. Like, I'm not going to do anything. I was like, okay, what you mean? Like, I'm still not processing, like, what's wrong, So he's like, no, because I'm low on cash. You know what I'm saying? I only got, like, $30 to my name. Okay. So I'm like, wait, you love her, right? So he's like, yeah, absolutely, I love her. I'm like, so you low on cash, but you full of love? And she not worth $10? Like $10? You can't use $10 of your $30. You can't use $10 to make her feel special. That kind of blew me away, right? So I'm going on like this tangent and this rant talking to my girlfriend because she wanted to know what he was going to do. And I was like, sis, I'm sorry, he's not going to do anything. But I was frustrated. Like, yo, he could take $10. He could do this. He could do that. He could have laid it out like this. Like I'm going in this whole, painting this whole facade to her of what he could do with $10. And she goes, well, can you call him and tell him to do that? Because I would really, really love that. Oh, my God, it would be amazing. I would love that. And I said, no. She's like, what do you mean no? I said, because if I tell him what to do, you're dating me. You're not dating him, right? And so you have to understand who your person is. He's not that person, Okay. So then we started talking a little more about it. And I was like, I should write a book about this. Because if he doesn't know, they've been together for years, right? And so if he doesn't know, I'm sure there's many other people that don't know. And you know how the saying goes, when you fill a void in society, that's where wealth lies. So, I was excited to get started. I did it scared, I'll tell you that. I was terrified. I knew nothing about writing, nothing about books. So
what was that process like to say, okay, I'm going to take these thoughts and put them to paper and then actually put it out there and release it to the world?
So the thought was kind of like, it was exactly what you said. You know what? I'm going to take it. And I'm the type of person that thinks about it in a way of, if other people have done it, what's different about me? I can do it too. Okay. There's nothing spectacular about anyone else out here. Nothing that anyone else does can I not touch, right? So I was just like, again, I did it scared. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to start, but I know how to research. I know how to read, and I have the drive and determination to get it done. So I researched. I was up all hours of the night trying to figure out. And I got scared sometimes. Sometimes I would write, and I would not know what to say, and then I just had to think about it. You got to kind of write the way you talk to people. I can speak to anyone. right? So just to talk to a person, I just wrote the way I talk, and just so people can connect with you through what you read. And then I put it down, I researched, and I'm glad that it came to fruition.
Now, you dropped this book when?
Oh, that's a great question that I don't have the answer to. I don't even remember.
Okay.
I was so scared. I literally sent the manuscript and was like, I turned my head. I don't even know. And I was looking like, did they accept it?
Right.
Yeah.
So what's the response been since you dropped it, let it out there, let the world know that it's been here?
So the response has been amazing. Like I didn't even realize some people, you really don't know who's watching your journey. That's what I'll say. So I've posted it, and I posted it. So my book is sold on Amazon, which I didn't realize how big of a deal that was. I would say it casually, even in my friendship circles. I'd be like, yeah, so you guys can just get it on Amazon. And they were like, what? It's on Amazon? That's a big deal. That's such a big platform. But I didn't look at it like that. I just looked at it like, I'm going to try to get it there. I'm going to put it in a couple places, right? And the response when people read the book is like, they didn't realize how simple it could be. Like, people overthink courting. People think,
can I cut in right there?
Absolutely.
Define what courting is, because most people, our standards are we're dating, right? So what's the difference between dating and courting?
Okay, so courting is actually prior to the dating part, right? So as you know, I'm originally from New Orleans, right? And so courting, and the way I was taught courting is if a person is interested in you, then they should show interest on a consistent basis prior to you guys making a commitment to date platonic, right? So that means like you should never come to my home empty-handed. If you're coming to see me, you need to bring something, right? A bottle of wine, a flower, something to show me that you're interested.
Okay.
And I recognize that it's different up north. Northerners don't have that, not all, but most don't have that kind of courting lifestyle. They haven't really seen that part, right? So courting is more so making your interest known outwardly as opposed to just using your words. But baby steps, small things. It doesn't always have to be big things. It's like if you come into my house and we're dating, you could bring tissue because you know you got to use the bathroom, right? So bring something,
How do you think your Southern values have been received up north? Because we in New Jersey, you know, right off the cliff of New York. Everybody up here rough, tough with their Afro puff.
Absolutely.
And it's a different world,
It is.
and then everybody, people out here doing what they got to do. So what do you see the effectiveness being with this book?
So I find that what you said is absolutely correct. It's a little rougher up here, right? But I find that my Southern Belle hospitality is infectious. And I find that it's missing in a lot of people. But I try to hold true to that. I've been in Jersey for a long time at this point, but I still try to hold true to my core because I recognize that it's a dehydration in that area in our population in Jersey. People want to be infused with authenticity, with love. They want to be infused with hospitality. They want to feel like they matter, and like they count. And with this book, I find that it makes it tangible. Because again, it's not, you don't have to take your date to Ruth Chris. If you're interested in someone, I think that, and to piggyback on your other question, so for courting, my Southern hospitality and how I contribute that to New Jersey, all in one pot, is people will always remember how you make them feel. They won't always remember what you say, right? And in courting ignites a feeling. Right? And that feeling carries through in every relationship you'll move into moving forward. Because if a woman treats you of value, your next relationship, you're going to remember that. Right? And you're always going to remember, wow, this person made me feel wanted, made me feel seen. And that's going to start to create your standards. Right? Because if no one else has ever done it for you, you didn't even know you wanted it until you received it. Right?
That's a bar. So here's one brand new question. That I think sometimes maybe gets lost. And maybe this one even for me that I realize I need to define. What is romance?
Excellent question. And romance is whatever your person says it is. Right? So, okay. A person may feel like listening to their favorite music with all the lights off, with one candle lit, is romantic. To share that music with their person and to just be in that space consumed by the music is romantic. Another person may feel like rose petals everywhere is romantic. Another person may like massages or walks in a park. It depends on your person. I can't stress enough how important it is to court a person, love a person, and see a person the way they want it to be done. Right? A lot of times we have this idea of what it is in our head and we force it on a person and say, no, this is it. This is it. This is what it is. This is what it is. But that person, it's like, if I love flowers, why are you buying me sneakers? Right? Because you like sneakers.
Right.
People don't see the selfishness in that.
Does the man matter in courtship?
Does the what?
Does the man matter in courtship?
Oh, absolutely.
Because I think sometimes that gets lost, and maybe it's always, I feel like when it comes to dating and courtship, so it seems like everything is geared towards the woman. Like, okay. And I think that sometimes...
I'm so glad you brought this up.
Oh, yeah.
You know why? Because, one, I am originally an alpha female who's learned to balance her feminine energy, and I myself am a courter. I don't believe that courting has gender rules. I believe that courting has interest rules.
Okay.
Right? So if I'm the one that's interested in you, then I'm the one that should make it known. Right? If you're interested in me, then you should make it known. Courting could be both ways. It could be an exchange of courtship. It doesn't have to just be one way. Right? So, and honestly, I'll tell you, I've courted almost 9 out of 10 of the men I've ever dated. I've been the one to show the interest, to court, to do picnics, to do dates, to do flowers, to do candles. I've been that person.
Do flowers?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
You'll be amazed at how many men have never received flowers, who have never received cards just because, who have never come home to hot baths ran for them. You'll be amazed. I don't believe in gender roles in that.
Well,
And I hope that this book shows that.
okay.
And I also, and again, I wrote a journal to go with the courting book.
Okay.
So this budget courtship journal is to help people document their dates so that they can see either the pros and cons of the type of people they date or the things that they do during dating, right? So they'll be able to help them hone in on, are they takers or are they givers? And where the gender roles fall in. There shouldn't be gender roles when you're courting.
What are some common gender roles that you think people get misconstrued?
Some common gender roles is the whole thing. You should be of service to your person. Period. On both sides. There should be no gender role. Now, some of the common things that people fall into is who pays the bills. Who should pay the bills, or who should do the dishes, or the things that our grandparents went through. We still follow those stigmas up until today, which is fine. And again, I'm a Southern woman. I do follow some gender roles, but I don't believe in a relationship that courting and dating should have gender roles. Now, one thing I will say is I'm a stickler for opening my door.
Okay.
I'm a stickler for that.
You want the door open?
Absolutely.
All right. Just so y'all know, open the door.
Open the door. Open the door. I'm telling you, this guy years ago wanted to take me out on a date. It started off, he did well. He gave some beautiful roses to one of my guy friends. And my guy friend came and picked me up one day to take me to work. And I saw the roses in the back seat. And I was like, oh my God, you got roses? You about to go see somebody? I was so excited for him. And he was like, oh no, those for you. I was like, ew, wait a minute. Like, we just friends. What's going on? He was like, man, that's not for me. Like, one of my guy friends saw you, and I'm saying, and he wanted to give you the rose. I was like, oh, that was so sweet. Right? And I was just, joking with my friend because I was like, wait a minute, you like a brother. Like, what's going on? But anyway, we laughed about that. And then the guy, he asked to take me out. I said, sure. And he came to get me. I came out, and I get to the car. He didn't get out the car. And I hear the door unlock, like, and I'm like, standing there. Because I'm like, I know he don't think I'm about to open the door to let myself in the car. So then he rolls the window. I was like, what's going on? I'm like, oh, the door. You're not going to come get the door? He goes, oh, the door is open. I said, oh, okay, 1 second. I went back in the house. I never came back out. Never came back out. To this day, this guy and I, we're friends. But he sees me. He's like, he brings it up all the time. I'm like, no. I'm not worth you opening my door? That is the lowest of low. Are you kidding me? No, thank you. Wow. I never came back outside.
Wow. We talked about a lot, but we always do our producer segment question. Okay. Right, if you ready to go with that?
For sure.
All right.
All right.
So
let's do
we're going to turn it over to our producer segment question. Y'all know it. Y'all love it. Bye, if you got the floor, man.
Peace. Appreciate the Flower in the Wall experience again. It's an awesome conversation. I actually have 2 questions. But I'll go with this. How did you arrive to the school of thought? I know you say you're a Southern Belle, but
Yes.
is that something you saw, emulated in your own life through your father or a father figure? Like, how did you get to the space to think on this subject the way you think on this subject?
That's an excellent question. So just to clarify, it was not a father figure. I did not grow up with a father figure in my home. I did not grow up with a father figure showing my mother, an abundance of love or teaching her or whispering sweet nothings or anything of that nature. What I did grow up was my mother infusing me with confidence and always making sure that I understood that I control the narrative. And from that, with dating and getting to know people and things like that, as I evolved in dating, I always had this mentality of, why do I have to wait for you? Why do I have to wait for you? If I want that experience, a romantic experience, why do I have to wait? I can create it so I can experience it. It's as simple as that. And I think that for me, I grew up in high school. A lot of girls are like, oh, I'm not going to talk to him first. He got to come talk to me. But because, again, I operated out of alpha energy at first, I was like, girl, you crazy. I want him. I'm going to get him. That was always my mindset. Like, I don't have to wait. If I like him, I'm going to get him. And if I'm interested, I'm going to show him. Like, why do I have to wait? And I think that what a lot of females didn't recognize, what I always kind of knew, I guess because I had male friends who, again, from my Southern Belle energy and my hospitality, they always felt very comfortable with being transparent with me. So they would talk to me about their relationships with girls and talk to me about some of their dilemmas. Like, a lot of my guy friends would say, I wish women knew how much pressure we were under to approach them, or how much pressure, we were under to just tell them we like them, or when they got close to us, how it makes us feel, gives us anxiety. I wish that we could just tell them that without, feeling as if we're giving them too much, So with those jewels, that empowered me. I'm like, oh, he ain't got to say nothing. I'm going to go tell you then. It was that kind of thing. So it didn't really come from seeing it. Now, as far as the people having to bring things to the house and those types of standards, absolutely. That came from my mom, my grandmother, women around me, always letting me know, like, when a man is interested in you, he should show you. And it doesn't start when he gets you. Yeah. That kind of thing. Excellent question.
Fire.
Bonus producer segment question with
She was like, nah,
Baif.
know that.
Baif with the TH. You know what I mean? Make sure y'all get that right. But go ahead and ask that question.
Yes. Do you believe that you have to be healed in order to be in a relationship?
Wow, that is a powerful question. And my answer is no. I don't think you have to be fully healed.
How?
I don't think you have to be fully healed, because there's so many things that you're going to encounter in life that are going to wound you.
Okay.
You're never going to be fully healed, right? I'm a person that truly believes that you got to find somebody that's willing to unpack your mess with you.
Okay.
Right? You're never going to be fully healed, but you have to be willing to. You have to be willing to heal. See, people don't want a person that's perfect. They want a person that's willing. You understand what I'm saying? You're never going to be perfect. There's so many things that have happened in your youth and in your adult life, in your early adulthood. So many things that have touched you in so many ways that you can't do it all. You can't do it all. You can attempt to, but you simply just do not have the time. Some people just suppress these things and they move forward and, they try their best. But you don't have to be absolutely healed to be in a relationship. No.
But do you think at least they should have at least addressed it and at least tried to work on those things?
Yes, I do. I think that you should have at least tried. Like I said, we don't want you to be perfect, just be willing. Yeah, you should have at least tried to work on them. And I think that if we unpack this stuff a little more, work on the things that impact you most, right? So remember earlier in the segment I said that I didn't grow up with a father figure in my house. My dad was not the person to show me chivalry or any of those things. He was not the person to show my mother those things either. But that bothered me as a young woman. And I carried that in a lot of my different relationships. I carried trust issues from my dad. I carried, the way I spoke to men, was based on my anger with my father sometimes. And honestly speaking, a lot of times the men that I dated, they got the alpha version of me because that was the father in me that showed up to protect me. Because my dad never did, right? So it's essentially, if I'm in the car with you and you put me in a place that hardens my soft energy, my feminine energy, you actually, now it's two men in the car. Cause the man in me then showed up to make sure that I'm good. The man in me is self-talking me saying, you good, you don't need him, we got this, we gonna get through this, it's cool, don't call him no more. You see what he doing? That is how the alpha energy talks to women. And we project that out with feud and fury or anger or animosity or even just stonewalling you.
Okay.
But again, that's the father in us, the brother in us, the uncle that never came. It's all the men that failed us that's in there, the version that we wanted them to be. Let me make that clear. Not who they are, but the version we wish they were for us.
Okay.
That's what the alpha energy is in women.
But how do you get somebody to say, okay, let me navigate myself to make sure that I'm not giving so much of that to another person that I'm chasing them away or something.
You got to say it.
Okay.
A lot of times people endure and they don't speak up for themselves. If I'm hurting you and you don't tell me I'm hurting you, how do I fix it? A lot of people don't know they're wrong because they've never been corrected. You have to correct it. You have to address it. You have to say something. Some people even, they'll hold on to a rose and the thorns will be bleeding. And they're so used to holding on to the rose and they're so used to bleeding that it doesn't faze them anymore. But it's not until a person says, hey, what are you doing? You're getting it on me. You're bleeding on me now. I got a problem with that. I don't want blood on me. That a person recognizes like, oh my God, I didn't even realize I was doing it. I held it for so long, thinking I'm trying to protect this thing. And some people get so caught up in that negative energy, that negative space, and that hurt that they've had to operate with for so long that when it's no longer there, they feel empty. And they don't know what to replace it with. They don't know what to put in there. They don't know how to fill it up with healthy things, with happy thoughts and happy relationships. They don't know how.
Right.
They're never going to know if you don't say anything. You got to tell them. That's a part of the healing process.
Okay. So you don't think the person, just to sum it up, what I heard is that it's okay to still be in your healing process. It's just, don't let that be the thing that holds you back.
Absolutely.
Got you.
Good job. Check you out.
Well, look at me.
Okay, I'm gonna bring you into
read out loud,
you into the academies to talk to some people.
You don't want me. I got bad war stories. But I may not be able to read out loud. But
you better stop saying that. I can't.
Joking. But I can sum some stuff up. I thank you. That's the bonus question.
That was awesome.
All right. One thing I think you kind of alluded to, and there's telling the guys, being forward and stuff like that. Then you get to a place. We talked about it pre-recording.
Okay.
Intentions versus standards.
Absolutely.
Break that down.
Expectations versus standards.
Expectations.
Yes, versus standards.
And standards.
Yes. So a lot of people assume that when they're telling a person what they like or what they enjoy, that they're giving the person their standards. But the reality is they aren't. They're giving the person their expectations, right? So a person will say, like I used before, the flowers. Oh, I like flowers. And I like to have them all the time around my house. That is creating an expectation. That's not my standard. My standard is I want a man who sees me, a man who makes me feel seen. That is the standard. Meaning, if this man does not make me feel seen in the relationship will be null and void. It will be no more.
Break that down. What does seen mean?
Seen. A lot of women want to feel seen by their partner. So a lot of times that a woman, for example, let me just paint the picture. You know how guys are playing a video game and you see the woman just walk by with these short shorts on, and he's paying her no attention. She doesn't feel seen. So she's trying to get his attention. She's trying to be in his visual. Most women want to be the apple of their man's eye. We want to be the most beautiful in the room, no matter what vixens are around, no matter, who's has the most money, who has the most beautiful hair or smile. If I'm yours, I need to feel that way and feel like you see me as yours day in and day out. That's what I mean.
How do you keep that energy, in your opinion?
So I think that in my opinion, the way that I would be able to keep that energy with my partner is just by simple things. It could be simple gestures. If I'm doing the dishes, my man just come in, rub my leg real quick, give me a kiss on my cheek, and just go on. But anything I do, just allow me to feel his presence. And I don't think that men will yield a lot of power. If I'm walking in a crowd and you hold my hand and you tuck it close to you, not only do I feel seen, I feel wanted and I feel valued and I feel like you're protecting what's yours. And that leads to the bedroom. I'm just saying, those simple things like that, men don't understand that. We as women, sometimes we see that as foreplay. When you ignite us like that and you pour into us like that, that brings out that is how you get femininity out of alpha women.
That's that's really dope.
Thank you.
I'm like,
It's all right.
the one thing I love about this podcast is most of the guests, they really just drop nuggets, and then it's always like scrambles my brain. Like I'm like, dang, where do I want to go to next?
Well, he said he had a second question.
Well, no. I got
Okay.
this. I got it. I'm working my way there, but I just love the fact that we get these nuggets, and that's just something a lot of dudes really need to know. So, what do you see yourself doing? How do you see yourself expanding beyond the books?
Okay.
Yeah, no, sure.
Oh, okay, yeah, excellent. So I'm actually going to be opening an academy soon, a dating academy, a courting academy to teach people and expound on the book, to teach males and females how to go about courting, how to do healthy courting, because there is a disclaimer in my book that I say that if you misuse this information, that it can breed toxic relationships. You know, a lot of times you don't want a person courting you and really don't have good intentions for you, because that will get you all mixed in and feeling like the person wants you and now you're all in. And now this person hurts you, you know. So you got to be very careful with, one, who you receive it from, and two, who you do it for. But I'm going to be opening a school soon to teach people how to do it. I was amazed at how many people just didn't know how to date. People would call me and say, Kwa, I really don't know how to date. Like, I don't know how. Some people literally, it's like, oh my God, Eric, you're sexy, I like you, let's sleep together, and it fizzles out. Because you don't have that courting part, there is no stick and stay in relationships today. It's instant gratification all the time. So what I want to do is teach people, again, leading from the book, one, how do you court a person? How do you pace yourself in dating to make it count? How do you do it with a healthy mentality? You know, how do you operate in your energy? Even for men, a lot of men are operating from a masculine physique but a feminine energy. Ooh. Right? And they emulate alpha males, but they are not. And so then you meet a woman who's an alpha female, and it seems like it works out at first, but women just want to be feminine. But we need a safe space to do that. When we don't feel safe, you know, we operate out of that masculine energy. And I'm definitely a person who was guilty of that. So many relationships. I had so much alpha energy that even if you were alpha, I was alpha too. We alpha together. Right? And it didn't make it necessarily a
butt heads a little bit.
You know, a little bit. What we butt heads all the time because we both got the pants on, right? But what I recognize over the years and what I want to teach people is that understanding what your safe place is. You know, for males and females, men need to feel safe too. That's why men don't let their guard down. That's why men don't reveal their heart, because they don't feel safe. You know, and if you're dating a person that's giving you anxiety, you're not going to do that. Safe is when there is no anxiety. Safe is when you really are safe, you know. And that's when a woman, too, she needs to feel safe. There's so many key things that a man can say to create a safe place in a relationship. But I just think that people are so at odds and combative and defensive. Nobody can hear. You know, we're always on social media. Everybody can read. Nobody can hear. Right?
That's a bar. But safe place. What? I lost it. Cause you be in the middle of the joint and then she be like, boom, and then I have a good thought and then you be like, oh, and then she drop another bar and I'm like, ah.
Oh, I said so much that a man could say to create a safe place. That part.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you think you can create safe boundaries within that context?
What do you mean safe boundaries?
Like boundaries where maybe you're not doing too much, but at the same time doing enough. This is you giving me advice as a guy.
Okay. But when you say doing too much of what?
Like when you in courtship,
yeah.
It's supposed to be. Is it supposed to be a more of a safe space? Create a safe space, right? So, if that's the case, you don't want to do too much because you don't want to give too much, because you want to be able to get to that exclusive place. So how do you balance that, or what advice would you give to somebody who's trying to balance that?
I would say start with what feels right to you, right? And understand that when you're courting, you're only in competition with who you are. You're not competing with the person that you're courting. So that's why you ever heard somebody say, Well, dag, you went all out for this. What you gonna do next time? You don't want to do too much too soon, and then you can't outdo yourself. That's why you should start small. That's why starting on a budget is important, right? Because you can gradually build from that budget. Even if you went to 7-Eleven and it was your first time picking up a woman that you wanted to go on a date with,
Right.
and you bought her a single rose from 7-Eleven, the fact that it came from 7-Eleven doesn't matter. The fact that you took the time to give her a rose to make that moment memorable is what matters. So I would say start gradually and do what's comfortable to you. Because again, you are competing with yourself. You're not competing with that person.
Okay.
The other thing is, and I might offend some people with this, but the other thing is, I believe in sport dating. I believe
dating.
sport
Break that down.
dating. I believe
Are we
in sport
boxing
dating.
each other?
No, I believe in sport dating, like meaning like some people hone in on this one person. Like I'm dating this one person and they give them all of their everything. You are dating. You should be sport dating. You should be the best student in your dating phases. Know what works for you, know what works for others, know what you bring to the table, know what you're looking for to be added to your table. But how do you do that if you're so focused on just this one person, right? Now, some people feel like, oh, I'm not dating if you looking and you out here, you dating all these other people. It depends on what you're dating for. For myself, I'm at a place in my life where I date for marriage.
Okay.
Right? I date for the long haul, and there's an end game to what I'm doing.
Right.
And if I don't see a person worthy of being my husband or that makes me feel worthy or makes me want to work towards being their wife, then I don't need to do it, right? But in sport dating phase, that's not what you're looking for.
Okay.
You're looking to find yourself. And that doesn't necessarily mean you have to hurt people along the way, but you got to figure out what size your shoe is. You got to try on shoes, right?
Right.
And I'll tell you, because for me, I sport dated for a while, right? At first, when I started dating, because, I had my first son, I told myself I didn't want to date people that didn't have kids because I had a kid, right? So I wouldn't date any guys that had kids. But then I realized when I was dating men that had kids, I didn't want to date them either. Why? Because I don't want to split my time.
Right.
So now I'm dating a guy who has 3 kids, and he has to go to each baby mama house every holiday. He got to go get them from school. Sometimes he can't get my kid. I don't want that. Right? So I was like, this not really working out for me. So then I dated a guy that had 2 kids.
All right.
So I'm like, maybe that's a little less. He could split, it'd be different.
No. Did he bring everybody Happy Meals, or was it?
Yeah. You know what?
No,
Any man I've ever dated bought everybody Happy Meals.
Right.
Again, see?
Right.
That's not an expectation.
Right.
That's a standard.
Right.
Right? That's a standard. You absolutely have to treat my children equally.
All right.
And even a standard for my partner. I'm the person that you can't treat my kids any less than I treat them.
Right.
And I'm the same way about my man. You can't treat my man any less than I treat him. So that's if we going out to a restaurant or something, and I treat my man well, and you talking to him crazy, you don't get to do that. Because I don't talk to him crazy.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Again, that is my standard. It's not my expectation, right? But going back to the whole my sport dating phase. So then I started dating the guys that had 2 kids, and I was like, I really don't like that either. Then I dated a person that had 1 kid, because I'm thinking I'm getting better. And I realized this person that has 1 kid doesn't know how to juggle multiple children. So now they only know how to hone in on this 1 kid. And sometimes people are obsessive over their 1 child. So do you even have the capacity to love other people's children or love other kids? I realized I ain't like that either. Right? So then I was like, well, maybe I should date a man who has kids but no mother for his kids. Because then maybe it works, right?
You got it all.
I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure this thing out. So I'm like, so I started dating a guy who has children but doesn't have a mother figure for his kids, and that was unfortunate. And my kids didn't have the fathers in home and in the house. So I'm like, maybe this is going to work out.
Right.
But in that relationship, I sacrificed myself for my kids. Because he was an amazing father figure, but it wasn't working for us because we were doing it for the wrong reasons.
Got it.
Right? Then I went into realize, no, I want a man that don't got no kids. Because I want my man attention all for me.
Right.
I don't want him to be split. I want him to have a mind of his own. I don't want to feel like he's pulled in so many directions that he feels worn thin when he gets home.
Right.
Sport dating. Got to figure it out, boom.
Interesting. Sports dating. Sports Center dating.
Sports Center?
Sports Center Live. So, budget courtship.
Yes.
Do you think it always leads to marriage? Or should it always lead to marriage in your opinion?
No.
Okay. Why not?
Because everybody doesn't want to be married. Every woman doesn't want to be a wife. And every man doesn't want to be a husband.
Okay.
Some people just like the way it is.
They just want to have a partner.
Some people just want a companion.
Okay.
Everybody doesn't even believe in marriage. You know, you gotta know that from your person. What are they seeking?
Okay.
They might not tell you out front. You know, a lot of times we as women, we have been told not to tell men what we want right away, because then they start to conform to be what they think we want. And it's not always authentic to who they want to be at the time. You know, men are husbands long before we get them.
I always think the opposite. I feel like women are wives with love.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true. Then that's why that's why the whole, when you find a wife, they don't say when you find a wife that wants to be, when you find a woman that wants to be a wife. When you have to find her in her wife stage already. Yeah, when she's already put together, she already understands what she's supposed to do. Again, men come into a role where I'm ready to be a husband. Not your husband, but I'm ready to be a husband. And then they search, right? But they have to be ready. Now, some women operate, and go through a lot of things and then realize, you know what, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of the relationships failing. I'm tired of putting my all into people and tired of putting everything into the wrong person. And then they start to conform. Okay. And they start to find themselves, and then they start to operate more in that feminine energy. Right. They start to become wives before you get them. Got it.
That's really dope.
You looking for a wife, Boom?
Yeah, of course. that's a bet. You're a serial entrepreneur. You're not just a person who writes books. You have other ventures going on. So talk about some of those things that you have going on.
Absolutely. So I have a brand called Karen Vessi. Okay. It is a luxury wine purse company. It is a wonderful thing. Actually, before I wrote my book, I started that brand. And that bag is a beautiful bag. It is like a crock pool leather. I wish I would have brought one for the show. Definitely my era.
If you send a picture, we'll make sure we'll put it up.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. So, so I started that, when I had my third child, my daughter, and I was in a process. I was married at the time. I had just had my baby girl, and I was saying to myself, I don't want to lose my sex appeal just because I'm a new mom again, right? Sometimes when we have children, we go so into nurturing and family mode that we lose ourselves and we're all about the baby. Now we got these muumuus on, we got bonnets on, we walk around the house because everything is about the child. The child looks spectacular. And our hair is nappy, we ain't got our nails done, there's so much going on, right? I didn't want to be that person because I'm like, I'm a new wife, I'm a new mom. Like I wanted to keep it together. So I was like, how do I have something where I don't have so many bags? And so that's when I started to, honestly, I'll say it's download from God, because I was writing in a notebook, sketching, and I was praying on it. Like I just wanted something, a breakthrough of something. And it kind of came to me that way. And I was like, this is the perfect thing. Like I created my brand. I was like sketching what it's supposed to look like, this whole thing. And this purse came about not necessarily as a wine purse at first, but as a purse that I can use to put my daughter's formula in the bottom. Right. So if I still had on a beautiful dress and some shoes, we can go out to dinner and I can just pour her formula from my purse without having to carry an oversized, diaper bag and my pocketbook. So that's how it started. And then people started to love it. I started to market it, and I recognized, no, this could be used for anything. Right. Wine, health shakes, anything. So the bottom of the purse is a cooler, and it has a compartment on the side. You lift up a flap, and a spout comes out that dispenses the drink, whatever beverage of your choice. And the top is a purse. You can put all your cell phone and everything else in it. Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
Thank you. Thank you.
Make sure if you working an event, you're doing security, and she got a big bag, you gotta check the bottom
you gotta
of it.
Check it. You gotta check it. Right. People just unzip it.
Slide them drinks inside. Like, how'd I get in here?
Why you gonna tell it? You gonna tell it all?
I do security, so we all gotta.
Oh my goodness. Sorry guys, I didn't mean to tell him about it.
Oh well, it's too late.
Right. Yeah. So I have the Karen Vessi. I do taxes. I do corporate taxes. My cousin and I, she has a tax firm, Luxury Tax Financial Services. Sometimes you can see us promoting about that. I promote about it sometimes as well. So many different things. I feel like, and sometimes I hate to talk about them all.
What don't you do?
What I don't do is complain.
Right.
Right. That's what I don't do, and what I don't do is settle.
All right, that's what it is. So where can we find all the stuff that you talked about today? Let's start with the books, Karen Vessi, and then work our way up.
Excellent. So the books are on Amazon. Okay. Literally just type in Budget Courtship, economical dating, and it should pop right up. Okay. The Budget Courtship Journal, which is again on Amazon.
It's mine anyway. I'm taking
this your yeah, you know what? We should look at it. No, absolutely. Gifted to you. But they're found on Amazon. Karen Vessi purses can be found on KarenVessi.com. It's spelled KerenVeci. Karen Vesey, a lot of people thought it was my first and last name because I marketed without a face for a long time until I came public with it. But Karen Vesey is actually Indonesian and Czech, and it stands for cool stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, it's two-part language put together. Cool stuff.
Y'all got that? Man, Kwa, you downloaded some real gems today. I'm still trying to catch up, and it's been a vibe just having you here. I think that a lot of people can benefit from with your thoughts, and we thank you just for being brave enough, because being an author isn't easy at all. Where can people find you and follow you if they want to?
Absolutely. You can find me on Facebook, on Instagram. I'm sorry, guys. You can find me on Facebook, on Instagram, Kwanisha Kwa Earl, on all platforms.
Kwanisha Kwa Earl. Before we got on, Kwanisha Kwa Earl was talking about, am I going to train her? What she don't realize is that on the House of Boom, you have to work out with me. That's a part of the thing. So she has set herself up. She didn't realize what she was speaking into existence. So, leave the hills at home. keep the budget courtship in the car. But you're going to get your sweat on, you know what I mean?
Can I make a deal?
Okay, go ahead. What's up?
Okay. I will work out with you if you promise here live to do one date out of my budget courtship book. You have to follow it through. You can flip through and pick one date right now and show it to the audience so they'll know which one you have to do, and you have to post it.
Oh, Lord. But I gotta post the whole.
You gotta post it. You gotta post your process. Cause we need to make sure you did it.
Dang, you know what happened?
Read one of the. There you go. Go to the index and pick a chapter.
You know what's crazy?
What's crazy?
Not only, because we break the fourth wall here at the House of Boom. Not only am I have to say it on camera, but now my boy is in the building, and he's like one of my accountabilities. So now I'm double whammy. They got me on camera. I got accountability. These guests is in the building. So I'm like, this is it. Okay.
Pick one.
10 times date. 20 is plenty. 30 if you're flirty. 40 if you're shorty. 50 if you're nifty. Okay. Well, we owe Linda $40 for lunch, right?
That is not how
so we can't do that. You got to do a date.
No, the dates are broken down for you.
Okay.
When you read the chapters, the dates explain what to do with the money, how to use it, and charges you with doing the date specifically.
We all have a little bit of narcissism, and it's like 50 if you nifty, I'm going to do 40 for shorty.
Okay, go to it. Let's see.
Let's see what 40 for shorty is. 50 if you're nifty, 40 for shorty. You have two whole $20 bills. Now what you going to do with that? Let's make it count. Woo! You made it to 40.
You reading it like that? I can't.
That's
how it go.
I was like the one that.
This
like,
is interesting. I've never seen anybody reading it.
I was ducking the teacher when they be like, "Yo, read out loud." I'm like, because you be processing it and still trying to read what's going on.
I gotta use the bathroom.
Yeah. I gotta use the bathroom.
Somebody posted recently, them teachers never told you wasn't gonna be nothing. You just was mad she told you read out loud. To all the rappers. They said all the rappers that said that. Yeah. I was cracking up. Mm-hmm.
Prepared to be romantic and gentle grab. I guess that's one I could work with, because I was talking about what romance is and all that good stuff. So I ain't going through all this, but 40 if you shorty, you got it.
That's the one you want to do? Okay.
That's what I want to do. I don't know when I'm going to do it.
We're going to hold him accountable, guys.
You're going to hold me accountable. So 40 for shorty, economical dating, budget courtship. That's where it's at. That's Kwanisha Earl. Kwa. I am Eric Boom Salvery. We out. Peace.